This evening, the government is offering a second chance to those who have not completed their secondary education. Two suspects are on the run after firing at officers on patrol. Elderly Sophia woman run over by garbage truck. In the region, courts find Argentina responsible for indigenous massacre, and internationally, hunger fears calls for Russia to open Ukrainian ports for exports. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Two teenagers are in custody and two are on the run after they shot at several police officers on patrol at Arnock Street, Queenstown, Georgetown on Thursday, May 19th. Reports say that around 8:45 p.m., three police ranks were on motorcycle patrol duty in the vicinity of Arnock Street when they observed four suspicious-looking males on two motorcycles heading north along the street. Upon seeing the ranks, the four males immediately turned around and began proceeding south on Arnock Street. The ranks give chase, during which the pillion rider of one of the motorcycles pointed an object in the direction of the ranks before a loud explosion, suspected to be a gunshot, was heard. One of the ranks, armed with a 9mm pistol, immediately discharged a single round in their direction. The ranks managed to apprehend two males on one of the motorcycles, a 17-year-old from Tuckville squatting area and a 15-year-old from South Sophia. An air gun was found on the 17-year-old. A wound suspected to be a gunshot was also seen on the 17-year-old teen's right lower foot. He was escorted to the Georgetown Public Hospital to seek medical attention. The 15-year-old lad is presently in custody. He is assisting with the investigations as the search continues for the two others. An elderly Sophia woman was run over by a garbage truck while walking down a roadway in her neighborhood yesterday, Esther Sobers explains.
Police are investigating a fatal accident on Thomas Street in Beefield, Sophia that claimed the life of 65-year-old Yvonne Morrison of Beefield, Sophia on Thursday, May 19, 2022. According to police report, the woman was struck down by a garbage truck GYY 7351 owned by Puran's brothers and driven by a 35-year-old employee. Inquiries disclosed that around 11:30 a.m., Morrison was walking west in front of the garbage truck in the same direction. The driver alleged that he sounded the vehicle horn while passing the pedestrian, and the pedestrian stopped and allowed the garbage truck to pass. As the truck proceeded forward, the driver further alleged that the woman lost her balance and fell, landing under the garbage truck, where the left rear wheel squeezed her. Headline News went to the accident location and chatted with eyewitnesses.
I was on the car now. The truck reversing coming through the street. All I hear, hey, look that man pulling a man from under the truck and we run and come down. The woman that just under the truck wheel to the front part, to the back wheel. And we pick up, me and nephew pick up, and we carry shot she mother-in-law place. She daughter-in-law. But when we put she down now, she close raise up from the back, we see a big red mark on she back here. So the man saying the truck in knock she or it in jam she. But the truck did jam she because the wheel mark there right on she back. After we pick up and we carry she and we end up going away because I got my work for do and we did doing we work, so we go back to we work. Otherwise, I sure if the road is more properly in them thing, the woman would have walking safe in the car now, but you see there's a lot of holes in the road.
I came downstairs because I want to know who's who. So I came downstairs. When I come downstairs, I see the truck and I see the lady lying down under the truck. There's all that, but there's no see when the truck hits her or anything like that. I see she lying under the truck and then them boys come out of the road and somebody move she from under the truck. That's all. She was walking, she had a walking stick.
Morrison was picked up in a semi-conscious condition by the driver and porters, placed into a motor car and transported to the Georgetown Public Hospital. She was seen and examined by a doctor. However, she subsequently succumbed to her injuries. The body is presently at the Memorial Gardens mortuary awaiting a post-mortem examination. The tragic death of Mrs. Yvonne Morrison continues to be a talk of the residents of Thomas Street, Sophia. Residents are saying if the roads were in better condition, Mrs. Morrison would have probably been alive. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Continuing our coverage of the terrible accident that killed Yvonne Morrison, residents of Thomas Street in Sophia are blaming the woman's death on poor road conditions, a problem they have been dealing with for over a decade. Here again is Esther Sobers.
The death of 65-year-old Sophia resident Yvonne Morrison has spurred locals of Thomas Street, Sophia, to blame the woman's death on the poor road conditions. Residents believe that other roads in the neighborhood are in better form, but that their streets were never repaired for unknown reasons.
If you get taxi for coming here, the taxi don't want to come in here because the road bad. If you get a sick, you gotta lift your sick tail out to the car and forget a taxi, forget a road, for get them to carry them to the doctor. So we really need this road to be done. We really need to do, because all the rest of the road doing this field except this road. I don't know why they skip this road.
Some residents further noted that the road would flood when it rains, making it difficult to traverse and take their children to school.
Since I'm living here about 3 different elections, and this road never do. They grade it and never look back. And this street get the most vehicles. And when the rain falls, the whole place is flooding. And it's really hard.
In 2019, the former government promised to develop and upgrade the multiple roads that run east to west, allowing the plantation to be linked from A field to B field and C field to D field. The project will see construction of 8 bridges that will connect the highways and are now under development to establish low-income areas. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Stick around after the break. The government of Guyana is offering a second chance to Guyanese who have not completed their secondary education, and a second group of individuals benefit from the Guyana Prison Service's Fresh Start initiative. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule sponsored by an antique and modern concrete molding establishment.
In a world filled with copycats and ever-changing trends, make your property stand out with unique concrete moldings. Different, exquisite designs, carefully handcrafted to suit your style, with various customizable and antique and modern designs made at our factory. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment. We make your property outstanding. We make and install all moldings anywhere in Guyana.
The best quality, affordable prices, on-the-spot quotes, and no hidden fees.
Call us or WhatsApp us at 684-5050 or email us at modernestab@gmail.com. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment, made to stand out.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
They say that when it hits you, it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give in to a juicy piece of KFC. To feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to register? Visit the registration office responsible for your area of residence to apply for registration. See Sunday Press for the locations of the registration offices. Registration offices are open from Monday to Friday, 8 to 18 hours, Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 14 hours. The offices will be closed on holidays. This registration exercise will end on Sunday, May 29, 2022. For further information, contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808. Or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. The government of Guyana is offering a second chance to resident Guyanese who have not been able to complete their secondary education under a new initiative titled Get Ready for Opportunities to Work. This scholarship program is being offered to applicants at no cost to the applicants and will be done under the Ghana Online Academy of Learning.
The initiative aims to offer Guyanese, 18 years and over, who never had an opportunity to complete their secondary school education or who wrote their secondary exams, exit exams, but obtained less than 5 passes in CSEC or GC, including math and English, the opportunity to matriculate to tertiary education.
According to Minister of Education Priya Manikchan, applicants can either apply for Scottish Credit and Qualification Frameworks, SCOF levels, 5 and 6 diploma, or a general education diploma.
The SCQF is a comprehensive preparatory program to be delivered within a 3 to 6 month period, targeting applicants who have at least completed grade 9 of their secondary education or who sat the CSEC examinations but did not pass at least 4 subjects. The students will study 7 courses: communications, business, mathematics with Excel, behavioral management, marketing, introductory economics, and international relations.
The diploma is internationally accredited. The minister said all classes would be conducted online in the evening hours to accommodate working persons. Examinations will also be conducted online at the end of the program.
So here's the thing. If you always wanted to finish high school or to get your high school exit qualification so that you could go on to tertiary education and give yourself better opportunities at work, then GROW is your chance. This is your second chance to do what you were unable to do for whatever reason. Throw that aside, wipe the slate clean. Come, let us register you for the GROW program at no cost to yourself, and you'll be able to finish high school with certification that you finished. That will give you opportunities to enter into tertiary institutions as well as get better job opportunities.
If you're interested in signing up for any of these programs, visit the GOAL website at goal.edu.gy to find the appropriate portals to apply. Individuals discovered conspiring to smuggle contraband into jails and prisons across the country will be arrested and hauled before the courts. This was announced by the Director of Prisons, Nicholas Elliott, while making reference to recent attempts by members of the public to toss illegal objects over prison gates. According to Elliott, the Ghana Prison Service would implement a stop and search effort within the confines of each prison location in an attempt to stop the flow of contraband into the institution. The prison director said, despite the prison service's increased monitoring and security at all prison locations over the past weeks, it was observed that persons made several attempts to throw contraband items such as narcotics and cigarettes over the prison fences. This continues to pose a substantial issue, and therefore he is reminding the public that throwing any items over the prison fence is a crime punishable by a fine or a sentence of imprisonment under the Section 53(1) of the Prison Act. Elliott indicated that the Ghana Prison Service would be erecting signs outside of the prisons warning the public to desist and the consequences attached to such an act. Additionally, the prison director stated that the Ghana Police Force and the prison administration would be engaging locals living around the various jails. He indicated that a buildup of civilian population living close to the prisons would have contributed to the increased attempt to throw contraband items into the prisons. Meanwhile, the latest efforts from members of the public to smuggle contraband into the prisons were intercepted by prison officers attached to the New Amsterdam prison on May 16th and 17th last. A bag containing over 2,000 grams of narcotics and 12 cartons of cigarettes was retrieved and handed over to the police. On Friday, 3 ex-prisoners became the second group of individuals to benefit from the Ghana Prison Service's Fresh Start initiative. Some of the items handed over at the simple presentation ceremony held at the prison headquarters boardroom were a complete kit of welding tools and equipment, 100 broilers with all the essential amenities, and a complete sewing kit. Minister Ben, during his remarks, said the Fresh Start program is dedicated to reducing criminal recidivism in the local prison system, while at the same time helping individuals to gain access to resources and provide the necessary motivation for success when reintegrating into their respective communities. Director of Prisons Nicolette Elian said that while the Fresh Start initiative offers ex-prisoners a new beginning, the gesture was part of a holistic approach to rehabilitation for inmates when they leave the prison system. The trio was considered for the Fresh Start toolkit based on several qualifying criteria while in prison, which included participation in training programs, conduct reviews, family support, and a post-release plan. Meanwhile, the Ghana Prison Service is encouraging the public to support this initiative in any form. Don't go away after the break. Hunger fears, calls for Russia to open Ukrainian ports for exports, and Mali child laborers, children forced to earn money at a young age.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is your civic duty and legal responsibility to apply for registration if you are eligible. When you do, you would be issued a national ID card and be listed to vote at future elections if you meet other eligibility criteria. Persons could be fined or sent to prison for refusing to apply for registration. Registration will end on May 29, 2022. For further information, please contact GECOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GECOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
The Guyana Elections Commission GECOM is currently conducting a cycle of continuous registration. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by October 31, 2022 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Eligible persons can apply for new registration if you were never registered, name change if you have changed your name since you were registered, correction if registration information is incorrect, and transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered. See Sunday Press for more details. This registration exercise will end on Sunday, May 29, 2022. For further information, contact GCOM on hotline numbers 225-5868, 225-5808, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Here now is Esther Sobers with today's regional and international news.
Good evening, and now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. A court in Argentina has found the state responsible for killing hundreds of indigenous people. It happened in northern Chaco province nearly 100 years ago. Al Jazeera Teresa Bo reports.
Irma Avalos was brought to Buenos Aires from the northern province of Chaco when she was a child. She's a member of the Com indigenous community. Her family was escaping poverty. She says discrimination has been part of her life.
For my children, it's difficult to accept that they call us Indians or they leave us aside. We are not animals. They cannot come and tell us what to do. They cannot kill us when they want.
Last month, in Argentina, some survivors and descendants of the Com and Mocoit people took part in an unprecedented trial of a case that goes back nearly a century ago. In 1924, hundreds of members of the ethnic groups were killed by ranchers and security forces for protesting for better working conditions in cotton fields in Napalpí, in the province of Chaco. On Thursday, a judge acknowledged the complicity of the Argentine state in the killings and ordered a series of measures to assist the communities today.
The trial for the massacre in Napalpí shows the serious abuses that indigenous communities suffered in this country. Only 1 million of the 45 million people in Argentina consider themselves descendants of the original indigenous groups. Most of them live in poverty and continue to fight for survival.
Pascual Duran lives not far away from Napalpí in Chaco. He's also a member of the Com indigenous community. He says his people have to struggle for food and work and remembers when the police beat him and accused him of stealing beef 2 years ago. His granddaughter, Juliana, was there.
They accused me of having beef in my house, but I had nothing. It was a lie. The police make mistakes and blame us, but those who do things are never detained.
Testimonies of police abuse are frequent among indigenous communities. This video went viral during the pandemic when security forces entered a neighborhood in the province of Chaco and beat the men and women inside the house. Diego Vigay is a prosecutor in the province. He says the trial of Napalpí is important to fight the discrimination that continues to exist today.
Institutional violence against indigenous groups is very common. There is racism among security forces and not all the cases are investigated, and there's impunity. One of the objectives the trial has to do with is putting an end to racism in the state and among security forces.
Argentina has long prided itself of a European heritage, one that often neglected and persecuted indigenous groups. The trial of Napalpí is a step to revise history and give indigenous communities the place they have been denied for too long. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
Internationally, USA Russia is using food as a weapon of war. Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed a UN Security Council meeting saying Russia is holding supplies hostage for both Ukraine and millions worldwide. Al Jazeera Christian Salome reports.
Ukraine has been called the breadbasket of the world, producing, along with Russia, nearly a third of the world's wheat. But war there has brought exports to a standstill and sent prices through the roof.
The war in Ukraine is now adding a frightening new dimension to this picture of global hunger. Russia's invasion of its neighbor has effectively ended its food exports. Price increases of up to 30% for staple food threaten people in countries across Africa and the Middle East, including Cameroon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen.
COVID and climate change are also blamed for pushing more people into food insecurity. But the U.S. called the meeting of the UN Security Council to highlight the impact of conflict, in particular the Ukrainian conflict, on food prices, and they put the blame squarely on Russia.
The Russian government seems to believe that using food as a weapon will help accomplish what its invasion has not, to break the spirit of the Ukrainian people. Still, Ukrainians are going to great lengths to feed their own people and to feed the world. The decision to wage this war is the Kremlin's and the Kremlin's alone. If Russia stopped fighting tomorrow, the war would end. If Ukraine stopped fighting, there would be no more Ukraine.
Russia pushed back, blaming Ukraine for blocking ports and the West's economic sanctions for price increases.
But if you don't want to remove your sanctions of choice, then why are you accusing us of causing this food crisis? Why is it that, as a result of your irresponsible geopolitical games, the poorest countries and regions should suffer?
The UN Secretary General has been trying to negotiate a deal to reopen Ukraine's ports and revive Russia's exports. He says right now there is enough food in the world to feed everyone, but the World Food Program is warning that could change if the war continues, with the number of hungry people in the world expected to rise even further. Kristen Salumi, Al Jazeera, the United Nations.
And finally, USA up to 160 million children are involved in work, often in dangerous conditions. At least 40,000 of them are in Mali, one of Africa's biggest gold producers. Al Jazeera Nicholas Haig reports.
Along the banks of the Falémé River in southern Mali, children search for gold. Some are here with their parents, others are alone, orphans from the war in the Sahel region. They come from all over West Africa to the many illegal mines here. Jokunda Juara says she's 15 but appears to be barely 12. In this gold rush, adults hope to get rich while the children hope to find just enough to buy a meal.
I am the eldest in the family, and so I'm in charge of supporting my sisters and brother and helping my mother find food. In the morning, I do the chores, then I come to work to search for gold. If we find something, I buy the food, then I make the meal. School is not an option for me or any of the children here.
After toiling for 16 hours a day, finding gold is a welcome prospect for the men. But for the children, there's fear. Men seeking sex offer money to desperate girls as young as 12 who are left with little choice, either accept the abuse or go hungry. The UN says 1.6 million children worldwide are forced into selling sex to survive.
You see those children working? Those two girls behind me? They're with their mom. They can make up to $36 in a day. With that money, they can help their entire family. This system of work is essential.
The economic fallout of the pandemic and the rising costs of living means poverty for millions of families. The UN says almost 10 million children globally will stop school and start working before the end of the year. Jukunda's mother says adults depend on their children to work.
If I had the means, of course my daughter would not be working here. Of course, school is better in the long run. She's not working by choice. Her dad is old. There are 7 other relatives, and we all depend on her.
Jukunda didn't find gold, but she did find a way to make money. How she earned it, she isn't saying, but it's enough to buy a meal for her family. The burden of care is given to the young, robbed of their childhood, and forced to earn a living like adults. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera.
Thanks, Esther. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. We will be back on Monday at 7 p.m. with another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.